So Len, coming into camp, here's what we had. Starting out, this is the same stuff we talked about in Orlando a few weeks ago. You're about 5'10", and what you tend to do is get a little bit overstretched on the football field. You're trying to set up like you're 6 foot, maybe 6'1", so you're kind of overstretched. It's going to create tension. It's not going to allow the physics and mechanics to work as efficiently and properly as they could if we get you in a stance that I call optimized to your size and type of body. So let me just explain what those elements are. Number one, overextended downfield would mean you got the ball a little too far out in front of you. Okay? What that's going to tend to do is pull too much weight forward in your stance. More weight in front of the center of gravity as opposed to behind. We need a balanced, neutral two-point stance in order to aggressively accelerate a football back behind us in 15 yards or so. So that alone is probably all around accuracy. If you're falling over, how are you going to be able to aim well? If you're in the process of your energy moving forward, how are you going to generate tremendous power back in the opposite direction? So you're a good athlete, and what you do to counteract that overextension is you hunker back into the hips or the rear a little bit with the net effect. Not only are you overstretched, but you're ending up kind of flat-footed or actually sitting on your heels in the stance. Now, how many battles are you going to win on the football field sitting on your heels? About 0, right? Okay. We need you on the balls of your feet. All the things about football, balance, leverage, mobility, power, all those things are absolutely as fundamentally essential to long snapping as they are to any other position on the field. So what we essentially need to do is to take your whole head-to-tail platform, elevate it a little bit. By moving you vertically the ball, we can slide the ball a little closer and still preserve a very good arm extension for a full, complete throw. Okay. Then what we do is we need to adjust your weight forward and back until we essentially just your knees directly over your toes, which to us is the measure of an optimally balanced and weight distributed type of stance. Okay? Now, the problems that we get when you're overstretched like that and you're sitting on your heels, first of all, your leg drive, in order to capture lower body motion energy, it needs to be back up into the hips, probably 10, 15, 20 degrees off of vertical. That energy needs to go back in the general direction of your snap, so that it can converge and be accretive with the upper body energy traveling down the spine. You're familiar with our arrow concept. Where those two energies meet, it forms an arrow point, and wherever that arrow is directed, that's where the ball's going to go. Okay? So getting you optimized and set up will help a lot with that. When your leg drive's too vertical, not only are you not capturing to the fullest extent the lower body motion energy, but on top of that, you could T-bone the upper body energy trying to travel in that direction. So you could be sapping your power in two different ways. All right? Now, one of the observations is when you're hunkered back and down like this, we saw your knees slightly ahead of your toes, which might indicate that in that setup you might be getting in a little too deep at times too. Well, we don't want to go beyond 9, because it's just like taking squats and going too deep. When the muscles become around those, are actually overstretched, they cannot rebound or contract in the opposite direction they would otherwise. And that general rule is you're overstretched. You've gone too far. You know exactly. That's where you lose your ability to recover and stand back up. You're finishing on your heels, but that's not a surprise because you're sitting a little bit on your heels to start with. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, or actually I'll ask two things. You tend to put that ball in a death grip. And that, of course, is going to create tension, tightness, definitely up to the elbows and potentially even further, even all the way into the lats and the back, okay? Tension and tightness are going to create resistance because that's something you're going to have to fight through and overcome in the process of moving the ball back through your legs. Much better to be relaxed enough that all of that motion can be dedicated to accelerating the football as opposed to overcoming resistance. Okay? So I think, excuse me, with both hands, I think you need to relax your grip a bit. Just enough fingertip pressure to hold the ball from above is more than adequate to hold and accelerate and control the football with both hands. Okay? Then the last thing is, I thought coming in you had a little bit extreme ball tilt. If you get that ball up on the nose, in order to throw it down and through, you may have to lift it up or do some other things that are not productive or inefficient, and they can cause problems with the defense having an advantage over you as well. We were suggesting maybe flattening the ball tilt a little bit. That'll also help you bring your hands through in what I call a flatter arc. We'll have less propensity to kind of loop the ball in a direction where we could release it facing towards the sky and snap high. Okay? Why don't you hop in? Let's do a 3-step real quickly. I think we gotta line you up too, huh? Okay. You ready? Okay, first thing I do is pull you forward. That gets knee bend to 90 or less, straightens the back, and fully extends the arms. Then I'm going to raise you up, maximizing operating room under your torso. Last thing I'm going to do is push you back into the hips towards your target, not down to the ground, okay? Till the heels touch the ground, knees are over the toes. You're solid on your feet. How does that feel? Looks solid. You've decreased ball tilt. You don't look overstretched. Give it a good, hard, aggressive throw. Okay, where'd the ball go? Straight, exactly where it went. Why? Because your setup was optimal, your balance was pretty good. You finished on your heels. We're going to fix that. But the arrow was pointed directly at the waist of the punter, and guess what? That's where the ball went. Okay. Now let's get you balanced, because yesterday when we filmed this, when we had that audio, you know, your balance was looking phenomenal. Obviously, it's Sunday morning, fatigue, so it's a real discipline. Force yourself to set up right. So coming in, you're a little overstretched, maybe a little deep, and kind of sitting back on your heels. What we did is we unbent the legs. We raised you up a little bit. See how that shortens you down, but you're still well extended. And then we just moved you around so we got the knees right over the toes for optimum balance. Throw it hard. Nice. And you stayed down and through with it, so weight distribution forward and after the center of gravity moved towards the hips and stayed proportionally distributed. And what that basically means is you stayed balanced from start to finish. Okay? Let's do a couple more reps and we'll wrap this session. You ever played rugby? No. Me either. My argument was always in rugby, so I'm joking. I had a wanted me to play rugby. I said, I'll just get hurt. I'm scholarship playing football. Okay, so basically, and to do that a little differently, what I did is I took this whole head to tail platform, elevated it an inch or so higher off the ground, which shortened you up a touch, and then I just got you balanced. That's all we're doing. And you relax the grip. It looks good. Throw it hard and aggressive. Feel good? Now, I would tell you that's not as quick and explosive as we were seeing yesterday, but we've probably snapped 150 balls in the last 24 hours, so that's okay. As you fatigue, muscle the ball, you're going to tighten up, tense up, the physics are going to go wrong, just like trying to kill it. So as you now, 2 a day, what you need to do is use your breathing, focus on keeping the body relaxed in the stance, and also as you snap the ball, think about being quick and rather than just trying to kill it, trying to muscle it through. That'll help you maintain your accuracy and your speed much better than anything else you could do. All right, let's look at it one more time. Okay, looking pretty good. Knee bend looks good. Weight distribution looks solid. Give it a good hard throw. How's it feel? Hey, do you have any questions? All right, you looking good. Let's get you in the group over there, and I'll see you in a minute. Here we go. Yep, so we're just making sure you're looking good. We got you, you were overextended, a little deep on the back end, a little flat on the heels. So we raised you up a little bit, shortened you down, then position the knees over the toes to get you perfectly balanced. Feel good? Good, quick, smooth, aggressive motion. Excellent. Solid on the feet. Here we go. Same kind of thing. You were a little overextended, a little deep on the back end, kind of sitting on your heels. Raised the platform, shortened you down a touch, and then got the knees right over the toes for perfect balance. Good, quick, aggressive, smooth throw. Okay. One last thing I'm going to leave you with. You're starting a little bit to jam that left shoulder up in the air. You're getting a little off kilter. The way to fix that, move the ball over to even out your shoulders. Okay. If you don't like that, you can simply relax the shoulder down by bending the elbow and the wrist a little bit. See what I'm doing there? Okay, that's excellent. You got any questions? Okay, let's get you back in the